Hi Math 2 students, this is the last video in Unit 4 Lesson 2, Operations on Polynomials and Evaluating Functions. And in this video I'm going to show you how to evaluate a function. I want to start with example 2. And in example 2 it is shown as a function f of x equals 3x minus 4. And it's asking us, what is f of 3? Well, let's take a look at what that means. That means that y is equal to 3x squared minus 4 because f of x and y simply mean the same thing. And what this question is asking me is to say, what is y when x is equal to 3? So what I'm going to do in this function is I'm going to replace all of my x's. I'm going to make a substitution. And all of my x's I'm going to substitute a 3. And then I'm going to sort out the arithmetic. 3 squared is 9, times 3 is 27. And if I subtract 4 from 27, I get a y value of 23. So I can say f of 3 is equal to 23. And this would be the appropriate way to state your answer. Another way to answer this question is to say that you have an ordered pair at 3, 23. Let's take a look at what this looks like when I'm asked to find f of negative 5. Again, my function is 3x squared, and I'm going to put a negative 5 where the x goes. And this becomes 3 times 25, because negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Then I'm going to do my multiplication, and then subtract 4 from 75 to get 71. So I would say f of negative 5 is equal to 71. Again, I could write that as an ordered pair, negative 5, comma, 71. And that would be an appropriate way to state my answer. Last, I'm asked to find f of 0. So that's like saying, what is y when x is equal to 0? So I'm going to put in a 0 for x, and I'm going to find that y is equal to negative 4, and you'll notice that negative 4 is my constant term. And that will always happen when you insert 0 for x, you'll get out your constant term. So there is my answer, either f of 0 equals negative 4, that's a great way to say your answer, to put your answer on the paper. And another way is to say you have an ordered pair at 0, comma, negative 4. I'm going to leave you to do example number 3, and I'm going to hop down to some of the ones that might be just a little bit trickier to make sure you've seen them. This is asking me to find g of 2, and my function is g of x. So again, that's saying, what is y when x is 2? So I'm going to replace my x's with 2's. Let me scoot the paper over here so you can see what I'm doing. So wherever there was an x in the original equation, I put a 2. And then we have some arithmetic to do. 2 to the third power is 8, and 8 times 5 is 40. 2 squared is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. And then I have minus 5. So it looks like this is going to be 56 minus 5, or 51. So I would say g of 2 is equal to 51. Take a look at the next example, though. It looks just a little bit different. If I cover up this 3, it says find g of 2, doesn't it? But then it asks me to take g of 2 and multiply it by 3. Well, I already found g of 2. I did that over here. G of 2 is 51. So here I would say, well, 3 times 51 is equal to 153. So we would say 3 times g of 2 is equal to 153. And there's my answer. So there are really two steps in this problem. The first is to find g of 2. So you're going to start from the inner and work to the outer. The second step would be to multiply g of 2 times 3. Let's do the next example. This says find g of 2. Well, g of 2 is 51, right? Multiply g of 2 by 2 and then add 7. So 2 times 51 is 102, and then I add 7. So there's my answer. The key is finding g of 2 first, and then doing the things that it says on the outside of that g of 2. And you have to keep in mind your order of operations. Last but not least, I'd like to work example 6 with you. And in example 6, we're asked not just to find f of 2 or f of 3, but we're actually asked to find what is y when x is a binomial. The process is the same. Wherever there's an x, I'm going to insert what was right there in my parentheses. Notice there's an x there, so I had to put x in right here, x plus 2 in right there. And now I've got to sort this out, and it's going to take some doing because that's a binomial and I have to multiply it. So I'm going to go off in the scratch part of my paper, and I'm going to multiply this using the box. X plus 2 times x plus 2 becomes x squared plus 4x plus 4. And that's what goes right in here. So I just finished copying down the rest of the problem, and then I notice I need to use my distributive property. This is 3 times x squared, 3 times 4x, and 3 times 4. And this is negative 2 times x, and negative 2 times 2 plus 5. We'll probably have some like terms here. I don't have another x squared, but I do have 12x minus 2x, which gives me 10x. And I also notice that I have some constant terms that are like 12 minus 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13. So I think I've taken care of combining all my like terms, and I think my final answer ends up being 3x squared plus 10x plus 13. You give the others on this page a try and check your answer.